challenge. And then we have a first deadline, that's the delivery of round 1 on April 12th. You will have to submit the deliverables for round 1 by midnight of the same day. And then we have a participatory section on April 13th, where each team will have a discussion with the jury about their project. That's going to be a short discussion. We'll detail it more later. Then we have a second round for delivery. That's on May 5th. And then the final presentation will take place in Malmo on May 16th during our visit. So going through the deliverables at round 1, deadline is April 12th. You will have to submit an abstract. That's a short but clear description of your project. It's about maximum will be 500 words. And in this document, you will have to detail the project title, name, surname, and affiliation of each team member, and name of your team. We will share with you a template for this task. Then for the same day, you also will have to prepare a video presentation that's going to be maximum 2 minutes. You can decide how to implement this video. In the video, you should integrate an introduction of your team and the project concept. I might suggest you to look at the previous edition of the International Student Challenge on the website, and on the dedicated YouTube channel. You will find what your colleagues in the past have developed as an introductory video. Again, you rename the video with the name of your team and send it to us through WeTransfer or any other means for transferring large files. All the communication is to be sent to the official email of the competition. That's the UrbanFarm at unibo.it. And this is all for the first deadline. And this is going to end on April 12th. Then on the next day, April 13th, we will have a session where every team will be able to discuss their project ideas with the jury. So you will be, we will have 3 minutes for presenting briefly your project ideas to the jury, and then we will dedicate other 12 minutes to the discussion and possible improvement or Q&A on your project with each team. So once we have all the team formed, we will communicate to each of you at what time your session will be. That's going to be on April 13th in the afternoon, between 1:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. And then we move to the next deadline. That's going to be May 5th. For May 5th, you have to develop your full proposal. That's not a very big document. Again, it's important that you make the proposal clear and concise and respect the indications on the maximum number of words. So here you have a general introduction of the project, 200 words, an agricultural section that is 600 words, environmental sustainability section, 400 words, economic section, 400 words, social and educational section, 400 words. Here you can also add annexes for a maximum of 5 pages with possible supporting material to your proposal. This final project proposal, the file again should be named using your team name or acronym, and you should use a given template that we will share with you. Altogether with this, you can provide a proof of concept, so detailing information on the technology and choices that you have made as a demonstration. This could be a design, could be linked to videos, could be prototyping, could be images from the technologies that you want to integrate. And this should be sent as a PDF file. All this will have to be sent again to the official email of the challenge. That's going to be urbanfarm@unibo.it. Videos that you have submitted by the first deadline will also be collected in our YouTube channel of the competition, and we will also have an online voting session. So when through the media of the channels or through your contacts, you might get support from the public to vote your video. This will also allow you to earn additional points for the final score. Basically, we expect this online voting to take place between the 20th and the 30th of April, and we will release the results of the online voting by May 10th. So before we go to the final event, you will know what is the score that your team raised throughout the different steps of the challenge. The grand finale, the closing ceremony of the event will take place in Malmö at the campus of the Swedish University of Agriculture. You will be asked to give a pitch in front of the jury and the other participants. You have 5 minutes for your pitch, and then there will be additional 5 minutes for question and answer from the jury. At the pitch stage, you will have about 25% of the scores left for your that you can still gain, and there will be one winning team. The winning team, all the team members will receive an award, the Young Mind Awards from the International Society for Horticultural Science. That's a very important recognition, and that includes also 1 year membership to the society. That also allow you to participate in symposia with discounted prices, or you will be asked to elaborate a short summary that will be published by the ISHF in their monthly magazine, that's Cronico Horticolture. We are also, we did it in the past, and we are also planning this year to release a publication with a digital objective identifier, a DOI, which will include all the elaborated projects from you, and will be published by the University of Bologna. So you will be authoring a chapter of this publication. We have some additional information on the location. They are available on the website, but and they might be enriched in the coming weeks. But I think now you will get a clear description of the project site by the managers of the project. So I can close now this part, and we can move on with the next session on describing the location and the project targets.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Francesco. This was really clear, and you will have the access to this presentation as well. Now I would like to invite Lena and Cornelia from Bothildenborg. Welcome.
Hello.
And
hi.
They will give us information about the Bothildenborg site and the tasks that you're going to work on or can choose from. So please welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we are so glad that we can be a part of this wonderful collaboration. My name is Lena.
And I'm Cornelia.
And we will be your host when you come to Sweden and to Bothildenborg. But both me and Cornelia said that we would love to, first of all, just to see you all, because when we look here, we can just see all the black squares. And since you are coming to Botillenborg and we'll be working together, it would be wonderful just to see your faces. So please, couldn't you turn off the camera so we don't feel so alone here?
Yeah.
And it's okay if you have the pajamas. I mean, we don't care.
Good idea. It's 52 people here, and
Yes, it's wonderful.
And I will take one photo also when everybody's on, just to show. We need to yes, some more. Wow.
I just love to see everyone. Perfect.
No.
Okay, wonderful. Now we know you're here. And feel free to close the camera again. Now we are, we've seen each other. Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Okay, so we will tell you about Botillenborg, and it's wonderful that you will come here and you will work with us. And we are a sustainable farm in Malmö. And I will talk more about the place, the general things, and then Cornelia will talk about more, dive into the soil.
Yeah, the farm.
So Cornelia is our team leader for all the social gardening we working with. Yeah. Okay. And who
are you, Lena? What do you do here?
Okay, so I'm the founder and I run the place, Botillenborg. And so we are a sustainable farm. Our mission is to be able to do something good. And we use, our vision is to be able to empower both people and communities through food, farming, and friendship. Mm-hmm. So I will show you some slides about, so you see the house, and hang on, and we will see so we can get everything here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Does everyone see?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so Botillenborg is both an organization and a farm, and we are a non-profit organization in Sweden, and we work with something we call social gastronomy. And in the word gastronomy, we both put the food and the farming, but we are not only doing it for the food and farming itself. Actually, we use it more as a tool to create a social change. So we are here in Malmö, in the south of Sweden, where you're from Italy. You will be coming. You're so welcome. And we are established in this old house from 1876. And we have been working here for a couple of years, and both inside and outside. And our main purpose is to be able to create a better world. And of course, we use the SDG. And when we look into what kind of goals we are delivering, we actually see that we are delivering right away 11 of the 17 United Nations goals. And using food and farming is such good tools to create a social change, because it's close to your heart, close to your body, and if you look in the different perspective of sustainability, I think that the food industry is a really important perspective to work with. But also we can use the food in connecting people and to share cohesion and togetherness. But also we can work with the economical perspective, because where we work in this area of Malmö, we have an area which is quite social economical challenged, and we can use the food and farming to be able to actually create work, hope, and a better future for people. So we work with all three different perspectives of sustainability: the ecological, the economical, and the social perspective. And here is the house. And once upon a time, this was the countryside of Malmö. Today, the urban Malmö is built around this farm. But we are able to both have the farmhouse and a part of plot that we can use for our urban farm. So in our urban farm, we are using market garden techniques to be able to farm, but we also use a lot of social techniques. So, we work with children, with refugees, with seniors, and so on. So they're able to work with a lot of different things. So I would do an overview of the activities we have, and then Cornelia will talk more about our urban farm. So as I said, we are using the food and farming as tools to be able to make a change. So what change is needed? Well, there are quite a lot of changes that are needed. One of those crucial issues for our society in Sweden and in Malmö is that we have a problem with a very segregated labor market. So the people who have work, they are working and working and working. But unfortunately, we have a part of our working labor, people in the working labor who are left behind. And those people, they often, not always, but often have another nationality. They came to Sweden and have not been able to actually get a hold into the labor market to get the job or have a job that is ongoing. We have a big group, especially women, who come and they are staying home with kids, and then afterwards they will not get into the labor market because they have never really learned the language. They maybe lack a formal education, but they have a lot of knowledge. So we have been working a lot the last years with this group, this target group. How can you actually create a better future for this group? Because what we see is if we strengthen this group, we also not only strengthen this individual, we also strengthen the whole family. So if mom or dad or both of them have a work, go to work, we see that the children's results in the school is better. The children's future become better. So I think it's very, very important to work with the moms and dad. So how can we do that? So we use food and farming and be able to have work training. So for example, our kitchen, our wonderful kitchen, we run that as a work training place. People come to us and stay with us for 4 months. And this is a collaboration with the city. And what do you learn being here 4 months? Something is happening when we work together, shoulder by shoulder. And when you come to us, you are part of our team, or as we say, you are part of our family. And we are able to work together. And if you, for example, you work in the kitchen, you are able to use your knowledge and your experience and your best recipe to be part of our kitchen. And then we have conferences, meetings, lunches, restaurants, and people who are working here will be able to serve the food to our clients. And something is happening here maybe for some people in the first time of their life into a workplace, to be able to be a part of a team, that someone is asking for you, hey, why didn't you show up yesterday? We lacked you, we missed you. And also to see that what you do is actually giving pleasure and something valuable for someone else. So what we see during those 4 months is that the motivation goes up, the self-empowerment is strengthened, and actually that the next step for 2/3 who's been here is work. And this is amazing results. And as I said, we don't do any magic here. We just treat people as one of the team. But to be able to see people and to be able to actually say, hey, what can you do for me? You have so much competence. What can you bring into our kitchen? Something is happening there. So 2/3 have actually gone straight to work from being here. And another third, maybe you wonder what happens, and that we often discover different kind of unhealth issues. And that is super important because then they can be treated. So this is one way that we actually use food as a tool to be able to make a social change. And we run this program both in the kitchen, but of course on our farm. So you can come to us and choose between the kitchen or the farm. So this is one way, a practical way using food. We also take care of refugees right now. I guess, I don't know in Bologna, but I guess there are a lot of people coming from Ukraine in Bologna as well. So how can we work for the refugees of Ukraine? So what we do is actually, of course, using food and farming, but our goal is to work with this group, both be able to help them to find a job, also to start to learn Swedish, but also to strengthen the health. So right now we have a big project working with Ukrainian refugees. It's a magical project. They come to us 4 times a week. 2 days are more education about the society, language, matching with companies. But 2 days, we also only cook and farm together. So what is, what kind of difference do the food and farming do for this group? The food and the farming, especially I think the farming, it's connecting something into your heart. Something is happening when you come to a new land, a new country, and you are able to plant a seed and see it grows. Because you both plant your mental and your physical roots into the new country. And this is Cornelia, who you will talk soon. This is her magical work. So people come to us and we do farming and we're cooking together. We're cooking by the open fire or in our outdoor kitchen. And suddenly people start to smile. And some of them said, yes, this is the first time I've been smiling since the war started. So this combination with the work training and to get the job, that is awesome. And working with food and farming, I said it before, is the most greatest tool ever to be able to make people feel safe, to make people feel loved, but also that people who come here can show their competence and their knowledge. More we do in our urban farm. Of course, we work with kids. Those are the most important in the whole society. So we have run a school garden for kids, and they're really, really young coming here, 4 to 5 years old. And it's important also, so we work in this area with quite a lot of poverty. And those kids have not so much access either to soil, nature, or to those kind of experience. So it's very important. We also have developed a different kind of activities. Here's something we call growing buddies, where we can have people coming, and we would love to have people from different backgrounds. and they come and they farm, they cook, they eat and talk together. We also do other things than those social farming. So we also do and run our professional garden, and we set it up as a market garden. And we have been showcasing the last years how we actually can produce food in a very, very small micro plot. So we have 1,500 square meters, and we last year we produced nearly 6 tons of food in this micro plot. We also been showcasing how you actually can earn money to work professional as an urban farmer. And this small plot generated last year 65,000 euro. So we have the food both to our kitchen, but also we've been selling the vegetables to other restaurants and other places. And we also have a farm shop. So this market garden idea, I think is very interesting, and a lot of you, of course, are already well familiar with it. But it's also important to show and see, not only talk about it. So here at Botillenborg, you can come as a student or intern. And I know that we have a couple of interns at SLU that will come and work with us this summer, and I'm so glad for that. And we can really change the climate, the biological diversity, and the entrepreneurship into the city, working with the farming. So this is some pictures about farmers that we have helped, and so nowadays they are professional city farmers. So we have a digital incubator to help city farmers to be able to be successful. And we have, during the years, educated over 200 farmers, both here in Sweden and especially in Norway and in some other places in Europe. And we try to help them to think like an entrepreneur and to be able to use their small scale plot to be able to run a business and to make it economical, sustainable. So this is a little about what we do, but I also want to say that we run this place as a meeting place. So we have a lot of people coming in our different programs, the kids, the refugees, the students, but we also open up Botillenborg for lunches, for conferences, for restaurants, for markets, because we really want to create this community feeling and spread the word about changing the society through food and farming. And that is what we are doing. And we would love them to meet you. We have a lot of different issues, and we have a lot of different challenges and questions. And some of them, Cornelia has been gathered into tasks that you will have to work with. And I'm so looking forward to see your answers on our questions. So that will be wonderful to see. And now Cornelia and me will switch. So she will talk more about UrbanFarm and those tasks that you will be able to work with.
Yeah. So thank you, Lena, for giving us such a nice presentation. We can close it for now. Close the share. So yeah, I will talk a bit more about how it works out on the farm. So Lena has given you a big, like broad overview of what we do at Botillenborg, and out at the farm. Let's see. Oh,
Do you want to have your pictures?
yeah, the pictures are better.
Okay. Share farm.
Desktop. I'm good at farming, not technology. Let's see. So I've just put in a few more pictures for you guys to while I talk. Lena will help me. Aha. Yeah, so you've already got some information on the website where you can see more about the challenge. So this is the entirety of our farm. So the house is just to the left. And we have, yeah, with the belonging garden. So to the top left, and the bottom left are the social gardens where we work with groups. And we found out yesterday or a few days ago that the old school garden is now going to become a forest garden. So we'll be able to, and maybe that's useful information for you as well while you do the challenge, that we'll be developing this perennial garden space as well with trees and shrubs and different heights of trees, as well as annual vegetable growing. And then on the the right-hand side of the picture, at the bottom, you see the market garden that Lena talked about, where we grow things in straight rows, and that is like the effective space, the 1,500 square meters. And the top right space is where we had the urban farmers that were the test growers that were trying out growing food commercially, and they were part of our incubator program. But that space is not used this year. So when you're developing the challenge, you can look at maybe using that space, because it has no set purpose at the moment. And in the middle, we have the farmhouse that we use as the gathering space. It's kind of the social space for all the different projects, where we also host the mushroom container, where we started cultivating mushrooms, both to use in our kitchen, but also to sell at markets. We also have the microgreens container, where we also do some hydroponics. And we have the farm shop, and we store all our tools, and that's where the main washing station is, and where we take care of all our produce. And it's also a space under a roof. So if it's raining, we can host groups there or courses. For example, my colleague Anton has been hosting courses for teachers that are learning how to grow food or how to grow things hydroponically or mushroom growing. So it's a very diverse space. It can be used in many different ways. And you'll see some more photos later on. So we use quite a few different types of cultivation methods at Botillenborg. So we both have the straight effective rows where things are spaced evenly. And at the bottom left with the sunflowers is the school garden, where we grow things in an educational way. So it's to learn, it's not to grow food efficiently. So we do both at Botillenborg, which can be useful to know. So when you're working with the challenges, it's nice if you add perhaps educational elements to, so we can showcase both to the public that come to our markets, but also maybe show 5-year-olds or 15-year-olds. There's a mix of ages coming, both young people and children, like to showcase for them things about like an efficient water system, for example, or how to somehow showcase for them a closed loop system when it comes to nutrients. And we use both, we try to, all over the farm, we try to minimize tillage and not disturb the soil too much. But in the market garden, we do use tillage every year with machines that have been built by our former colleague, using just a hand drill and specially designed tools. But we also use no dig, as you can see in the pictures to the right hand side, when we're developing the new school garden, where we put down newspaper and wood chip on top, and not disturbing the soil at all. So we try to showcase many different ways, again, for an educational purpose. And the top left picture is, just another way of showing how you can make no dig beds. Yes, let's see what else. Here is a picture of the market garden, so the commercial farm where we grow things to sell or use in our kitchen. And you can see that it's very organized. We have 2 tunnels that we can grow food in, and we have a big polytunnel as well that you saw in the previous picture that you can see online on the Urban Farm Challenge. So there we can grow some things and extend the season, and hopefully the top left that is covered in black plastic will hopefully be tunnels in the future as well, so we can grow even more food under an extended period of time. Malmö has very mild climate if you compare it to the rest of Sweden, but we still have cold winters. So the more things we can grow under cover, the better in a way. But just to give you an overview here, so you can see how we plan our cropping with these different gardens. And I think it's based on Jean-Martin Fautier, a French market gardener that's really big in organic farming, I think in all of the states, but and particularly in Canada. And to the right-hand side, I just put in a picture of the space of the testbed farmers, the space that is now not used this year that has no specific purpose. So yeah, just to give you a better picture of that in case you want to use that when you look at the challenges. And use two pictures of what we do with cultivation undercover. So to the, both pictures are of the big polytunnel. To the left is the more educational space that I use with kids, where we grow things more, less organized, you could say. And it's a space for learning and to maybe try out new crops that we don't grow commercially or on a bigger scale. So the climber there is called potato bean. It's a tuber from South America that we got from one of our old participants. So we can try out things there a bit more experimentally than we can when we grow efficiently. And the picture to the right is where we mainly grow tomatoes and cucumbers in the summer, but this is a picture from the spring or the autumn, I think, where we also grow a lot of salad and like winter greens. So right now in the tunnels, we have mainly winter greens and spinach, but we try to grow things all year round, but it's something we can become much better in and something that we can extend. Lena, would you like to go and get my charger? Yes, we can. So yeah, we could definitely grow more things all year round, especially in the tunnel, but also outdoors. And in the containers, as I said, we have the mushroom cultivation that we just started up, and we have microgreens and hydroponics that we've been doing for a few years. And when you're looking at waste materials, for example, in the kitchen, and the mushroom, like the waste from the mushroom cultivation, that's something we haven't thought of at all. So that's something, again, for the challenge to look at what can we grow mushrooms in. For example, you can use coffee grounds and stuff. And also, what do we do with that waste? How do we recycle that into our system? So that's something that would be helpful to look at. As well as the microgreens, you use a lot of soil for short periods of time when you produce the microgreens. So like how to use that in the most efficient way afterwards when you recycle it into the system. And these are a few pictures of our composting. It's not very glamorous photos, but it's something we need to get much better at, hence asking you to find solutions for us. So the small boxes with the yellow edges in the middle, that's from the school garden, where we get less material accumulated, for example. So there and it's easy for the kids to understand when you have it in set boxes, and we often write on the boxes where to put the compost waste, where not to, which one is resting. As you can see in the top left corner, you can see that's an active compost where you put waste, garden waste. And the bottom right is a lasagna compost we tried out, where we layered stuff with the Ukrainian group, for example. So we try out different things, but also we work with such diverse groups, and sometimes language is an issue. So it's sometimes hard to convey where to put garden waste, for example. So it's often quite messy, and because people stay for 4 months, then new people come, it can be hard to have a structured system that gets maintained. So that's another part of the challenge, is to, having an easy overview of where to actually put things and where not to, and what not to put and what to put. We also have a worm compost for cooked food, for example, and some weeds that you wouldn't otherwise put in your open compost. So it would also be nice to maybe showcase different types of composting on the farm, again, for educational purposes, both for the public, but also for kids that come, or when the teachers come, for example, to learn how to grow food. Composting is such a massive part of growing food, and to do it sustainably. The bottom left corner, you can see what it looks like when it's not working. It's just waste, garden waste piled in a long row. So yeah, we really need to work on closing the loop in our composting system. And just a picture of the farmhouse. And the farmhouse is really 8 containers, shipping containers, put together, and with nice wooden casing that we use. So it's our farm shop, as you see to the left. It can also be our workspace and a washing station for vegetables. And now in the winter, we do a lot of construction of new beds that we've been building, or building furniture. So it's a space that can be used for a lot of things. And it's very open, so it can also be designed for different things, different purposes at different times. And again, I've spoken a bit about it. That's mainly because I have the social eye when it comes to the farm. We work with so many different groups, so the more educational it can be, at the farm, like all the different aspects, the better. Anything from the small kids to, like women that come from an open nursery that come in here to cook food. Like if they can learn more about sustainability, about good food, and like how to care for the environment, both in the city, but on a bigger whole as well, that would be really great. So just to have that angle when you look at the challenge, how to add that into it as well. So it needs to be practical because we are growing food for our kitchen and for market. So it needs to be efficient and productive. But because we are a social space, it's also really important that you have that, that sense as well when you're working with the challenges, so that it can be understood by different people, and also for us to be able to show it. So if it's beautiful as well, it's even better. So we can be proud of our composting system, for example, or water catchment system. I didn't really have any pictures when it comes to the water, but yeah, the summers here are very dry. And I'll show you the first picture. And the winters are very wet. So for now, example, it's very, very damp, and the soil is heavy clay, so it gets really saturated with water during the winter. Around the farmhouse, we have several IBC tanks that take up the water from the roof, which is great. And between the Friendship Garden and the Market Garden, you can see it as a black square in the picture. We have a pond that catches all the water from when we're washing all our vegetables. So that's another source of water. And we have a pump that can be put in both the IBC tanks and in the pond that can pump up the water to be used on the land and in the different gardens. But yeah, both with the forest garden that we're developing, but also in the market garden, how can we grow food more efficiently using less water? So is it to cover the ground, or is it using more resilient varieties of crops? It could be like finding alternatives to annual veg and using perennials instead. There's loads of different solutions that we don't know yet, but hopefully you will find out. But yeah, I don't know if I covered everything, but maybe we can open up now to questions from you guys. If there's anything that's unclear or needs to be something that needs to be asked. So I'll stop the share. We can go back to everyone. There you go.
Thank you, Cornelia and Lena. So now we have a kind of peek in to Bothildenborg. And as Cornelia said, you have any questions regarding site? Jacob?
Yes. You said that there's new people every 4 months, or like every few months. Like there are some of the projects are like for people to stay like at the project for extended periods of times, or is it mostly courses that people come from the surrounding areas for a day or two? Or
so it's a mix. So we have the people that are on work training. They're here for 4 months with us. And then we have, for example, the Ukrainians. They're with us for a month or so before they go into work. The kids come continuously, the 5-year-olds, but other 15-year-olds, for example, they might come only for a day. And then there might be like the one-off visit from like student groups like you that come in for a day or for 2 days. But the people that stay the longest is the people on work training, but also our farm interns that are with us for 3 months. But yeah, the systems need to be very clear because people come and go from many different countries.
And also I would say you have different kind of languages with you. Say you don't maybe speak either Swedish or English. So we working with maybe 6 or 7 different languages. So other form of communication than written text is good.
Thank you very much.
Is there any other question?
Seems to be clear. Maybe there will be questions later when they start to work in groups. Thank you both very much for the presentation. We are very proud of this collaboration with you, and it's really important, this connection between the university and the real world out there, one could say. Just a kind reminder, please register if you haven't done that, because we will take a 15 or 10 minutes break. Francesco, 10 minutes? Yeah, Gisabina is nodding. So 20, we'll see you 20 past 11, and then you will be divided into your working groups. Francesco, you want to add something to this? We can't hear you. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, we had an issue with the mic. Yeah, I think it's 15 minutes. We might need 15 minutes because we are building the groups now. And yeah, I just want a confirmation that everyone registered. If you did not register yet, please do it. And then, yeah, I think at 11:25 we can start again. Okay. Yeah, just I would like to comment on this presentation. It was very good for inspiration. I think everyone got clear that we are not talking about a traditional farm, like where you need to concentrate only on technologies, but we are not only talking about a social project. It's integrating. So you need to think about smart systems, and you need to think about how they can be used by people that have eventually limited background or by young pupils in schools. So it is a quite diversified challenge that you have to deal with, and try to be creative in your solution, because there is a lot of inspiration. We will share with you material where you can get ideas, but try to integrate different concepts and ideas into your project. So we'll see you again at 11:25.
You have a question?
Yeah, is there a question?
Yeah, is it mandatory for your students?
Okay, so so it will take 2 days of our visits in Sweden. So it is very important that everyone intervene in the activities. For the students of IMAS, it is also mandatory in case they want to access to the grant for supporting the mobility. It will be one of the requirements to take part in the activity. And for both courses, it will be a way to get through the exam. So it is not mandatory, but I warmly suggest we are organizing this in order to get you hands in developing a project idea. So it is not a big effort what is required, but I think it's very important for you to get the most out of this course. If someone does not go to Sweden, you can still take part. It's not mandatory. You can still take part as long as someone from the group will be in Sweden to present the work. But normally teams, we are building about 8 teams. And I think we have about 45 students in total. So every team is composed by quite large number of people. So as long as someone can present the project, you can still take part in a team.
Yeah, at the end, you should consider that the project development will be done before the study visit.
So
during the study visit, we will meet all together, we will perform some activities, and we will do the final presentation of the project.
Okay, thanks, Gaia. So we'll do the break now. See you in 12 minutes. I can give you some Okay. So now sharing the screen. Okay, so this is the website of UrbanFarm. You can also get to the webs. We can also include the link in the chat. And here you get also details from, well, these are the impression from participants in the past. Then if we go to the web page, then you can, for instance, this is 2020. You can go to the teams and get to see the results from the different teams, and then let's say I can open one of them. And you can see the videos developed by the teams. Not sure you can hear them from here, but you can still get to know some impression from the team. And for any of them, like this one was one of the winner of the edition, was the first one. And here you can see the video. So for instance, as an inspiration, you see participants are here focusing on what is the topic. In that case, they were thinking about elaborating a microbrewery in a urban farming project. And here is Emanuele introducing. And what is nice here, you see, since they could not meet, but they still have the connection by exchanging this flower. When someone is presenting its own part and then move to the next, and the next is collecting the flowers. So this is one idea to make a flow. I'm gonna get someone else. I think we also had, I don't know if Ilaria, you remember the one with the Lego setting? No.
No, sorry.
Yeah. I'll check that. But you can really play with the website. You can watch the diff. So this is 2020, but then you can go to 2021, for instance, and go to the teams. And here you get the teams. Yeah, I think also Agrivolution. That was a design for a project in Naples. Or let's see, Soul Farmers, I think was one of the projects that won. That was here in Bologna, and you see the design here. Well, in this case, it's very much articulated and is actually taking the visitor to the place. This is really depends on yeah, how much you know how to play with video editing, but you should remember that it is a competition where you come out from the same background. In the past, we had a much larger competition with people also from architecture, design, fine arts joining. In this case, it is mostly from this courses that you see: urban farming, urban agriculture, smart horticulture, and the students following the urban agriculture course at SLU. So if you enter into the challenge of previous edition, you can also find the book. The book is similar of what we will also release this year. So this one is from 2021. And this is the book that will be elaborated. And you can also get an ideas of the project by the teams. So for instance, here we have, well, here are the previous former experience from team members, the jury, and then the pages from the project by the teams. So here are mostly their abstracts, so vision, concept, sustainability aspects, and lesson learned and remarks. Now we have changed a bit the structure of your contribution, so you have different sections, but you can still get this as inspiration to see what were the ideas, and you can also check what were the winning ideas among the projects that were presented in the previous edition and get some inspirations. Is there any question? Don't see the chat while sharing the screen. So basically, we expect also this year to release a book of this series. The series is called UrbanFarm, is published by the University of Bologna, and as you see here, gets an ISBN, a DOI. So it's also something that then you can keep for your CV as an author of the publication. The ISHS, that's the International Society for Horticultural Science. That's the largest scientific society in horticulture. It accounts for a network that's above 60,000 associates and stakeholders from all over the world. And it's the largest and most important scientific society in the field of horticulture. So receiving the Young Mind Awards is a very important recognition for promising young scientists and professionals. Within the framework of the International Society, I already anticipated to students in my courses, we will organize next year in January an international workshop on vertical farming that's going to be hosted in Bologna, and we are also thinking about providing special discounts or fee waiver to participants in the challenge. This is something we still need to fix. So didn't tell that already, but this is something we might be providing. Not sure about what is the status now, but if you have any question or request for clarification, let's see.
Yes, I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote in the comments, how can I take back my registration in the competition?
Okay,
Is it possible?
Yeah, of course. So we will now remove you from the teams. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I also should do a clarification for the students taking part in the Swedish course. This is a mandatory assignment. So I mean, you're supposed to take part in this.
Yes, is it possible to do the group works even if not being in the competition?
Which group works?
Rebecca, are you enrolled in Sweden or in Italy?
In Sweden.
Okay.
And then it's absolutely mandatory. You have to participate. This is one of the tasks, an assignment you have to do. So sorry, if you want to take the course, this is a mandatory.
Okay, thank you. I just have to ask.
Yeah, yes, good to ask, but this is a mandatory task.
I think I agree with Rebecca. It would have been good to know beforehand, before enrolling to the course, that this involves a competition, because it was not written in the course description.
Well, actually, you don't have to think of this as a competition. It's just because this UrbanFarm is a competition, but for you, this is just a task you need to do. And you can just disregard that this is a competition, but you take it as a task where you learn and have learning goals as well. So just drop the feeling of failure or not failure, or winning or losing. That's not the issue, actually.
Understandable. It's just the videos that have been shown by beforehand. It was a bit like a high standard for like 1 month.
Yeah,
so
if I can comment on this, obviously, so the last times we had a much larger competition and people from all over the world involved with different interdisciplinary teams. In this case, we know that we are targeting a shorter period. I know the videos are of different quality, also the ones I showed. I think, for instance, the one where they were only passing the flower is not a very difficult editing that is required. So you can still think about what you can do and consider it as you were working, for instance, in a company, in a group of professionals, and you were asked to develop a project. Do what you can do and think that it will be assessed in the way you integrate the different ideas and technologies, but the quality, there is not a standard for the quality of the video or a standard. It will be assessed in the way it is presented. Do not worry. It's more about integrating competencies and skills and having to deal with a real problem. So the real problem now is thinking about how to improve nutrient management or water management in the Botildenburg site. This is what you need to target. The form and the technologies you will use, it will depend on what you can do in 1 month. We know the time that you have, and do not think it as an impossible task. It will be seized on the time that you have for developing it.
Right, clarified. It's okay. It was just it wasn't mentioned before how the previous projects were targeted with a time frame. So how much time they had, because coming from experience with 3D design, as I was looking at the last video you showed, it was like, oh my God, that's I can do it in 1 month, but I'm not sure with working distant as well. It's like, oh, so yeah, clarified, we understand. It just wasn't clarified. So
yeah, and thank you for that, to bring it up. And of course, we should have told you that this is pass-failed assignment for the course, and this is just an additional dimension that we could put it in under UrbanFarm concept. And we do this because we want to have this international exchange of students and backgrounds to, as Francesco said, target a real life problem or challenge in urban farming. So we actually giving you the opportunity to do hands-on in international teams. So that was actually the catch, not highlighting winning or not winning. So you are all winners because you will have some experience, and you can reflect on that today, what you know today and what you will know in May once you have presented your cases.
Okay, so we are now finally ready with the team's composition, so we can share them. It's always okay here.
Can you do the breakout rooms as well? Or am I the only one?
I'm not sure that we can because you are the host.
Can I give the user being?
So first, we can show you how teams are composed, and then we will open the breakout room so students can connect to the different breakout rooms. Here in the room, I kindly ask everyone to connect to the Zoom, so then you can move to the breakout rooms. Because you will be able today, taking the chance that we still have 40 minutes in the schedule, you can already start discussing with your teammates and think about what could be the concept of your proposal and meet each other. So the first team includes Santa, Kirsanova, Navodi. So you might read them. So some of the names are not easy for my Italian language. So this is team 1. Can I move? I'll move now to team 2. That is this one. So you will have to connect to the room that is numbered as your team. We will then upload also this team list in the chat, so you can find in which team you are if you didn't see. So team 3 is this one.
I think that the easiest way is that we will share on Zoom the Excel list with all the mails.
Yeah.
So if anyone has not some.
Yeah, we are also going to share in the Zoom chat the Excel document that allocates each of you to a team. So you also get the email contact of your teammates. This is team 4. Then we have team 5 here. Yeah. And then we have team 6. Did you find your name? Yeah. Team 7. For the participants of Team 7, I have to notify that unfortunately Sara Ubiali and Sara Dell'Aglio could not be with us today because they had another task in another course. They could not join us, but they will contribute to the activities and they will watch the recording of today in the afternoon. So we'll contact with the other team members. And then finally, team 8 is this one. Okay. So,
Ralph, can you show team 5 for a moment?
Yes, just a second. Okay, but I need to share it again. Okay. And this is team 5.
Thank you.
Any other teams that you need to see? Huh? 8. I have some echo now. I don't know if anyone has an open microphone. Okay. Okay, so we will now.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
I registered and I'm also in the Excel sheet, but I'm not in one of the teams.
What's your name?
Emily Schröder.
Emily. Okay.
Yes.
Mrs. Plant.
Okay,
You should upload this presentation.
yes.
Emily, can you hear me?
Yes.
What's your course?
Global change ecology.
Okay. 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 Team 2. Okay, you are in team 2.
Okay.
I'll share on the chat also this PowerPoint presentation with teams composition. And I already shared an Excel file with all the email.
Anna Maria, can you make the breakout rooms now?
Yeah. Eight rooms. They're open. So check which team you're in and then choose room with the same number.